Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Realness with three S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis. My co-host today is Lauren. How you doing today, Lauren?
Doing so great. And Love Island is back. It finally feels like summer. I've missed the narrator so much. Didn't remember how much I love the narrator, and I'm ready to get to it.
What do you like him compared to the UK? Because I find the UK narrator is so funny. This guy, he's pretty funny, but I think he just needs an accent to be a little bit more dry, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And like obviously not as good as the UK, I agree, but compared to other American reality show narrators, this guy's in a league of his own.
It's true. I mean, I love the idea that he's literally making fun of these people on this show. I think it's just really funny. And I don't know if I'm funny in that way, but it would be a nice job just to be like, watch the show and write down all the things that you want to make fun about it and then record that. So it's a pretty good gig.
It's a great gig. Yeah.
As a comedian, I'd be like, that's what I want to do. I want to be a narrator on one of these shows. And that's something that I find is very UK. A lot of their shows has a narrator, and that's something that maybe that's one of the reasons why I don't find it translates as well in the US is because that's not usually what the US does. They don't usually have that kind of narrator that's going around and making fun of them. So maybe that's, I remember when I was asking about that, I was like, why do I like UK better? Is it just the accents? No, I think it's also the narrator, it's part of their culture is to have people make fun of people.
Well, that's the thing. In North America, Canada more so, but we don't have the same tradition of taking the piss, teasing each other. And I feel like Americans get upset. If you teasing, it's seen as mean, whereas in the UK, it's kind of it kind of breaks the fourth wall almost, right? Because it just Americans love the fantasy, Disneyland, love stories. The Bachelor is a great example. We want the fantasy, but the UK in the reality shows kind of breaks that right away by being remember, these people applied to be on this television show.
Yes, we're not pretending anything.
Whereas in America, we try to keep the fantasy as much as possible. So yeah, that's what I think.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. And also with that, being willing to know that you're going to be made fun of a little bit on this show, it's they don't take themselves too seriously. And I do find that in general, North American culture takes itself a little bit too seriously. It's kind of it's not that serious.
Yeah, on The Bachelor, I guess, is I think something like Love Island where it's fun switching up, but The Bachelor, I feel all of the conflict comes from someone taking themselves too seriously and and getting their pride hurt kind of thing, because every conflict on something like The Bachelor is when someone feels embarrassed.
Yes. Did you watch, are you watching this season of The Bachelorette?
I haven't started it yet. I think the last season I watched, I needed to take a break. I definitely watched Colton's season.
Oh my God, poor thing. Okay.
And then I watched I watched Hannah Brown's season. And I was like, I need a break because that poor woman, they're just who did she even end up with? Jed?
Yeah.
Jed. Really? Jed. And then I think I watched Paradise that year, but then I just needed a break. And I'm actually glad I missed Matt Smith because I think that one,
not James.
Matt James. That one crossed it from what I heard about it, it crossed into conversations that The Bachelor and ABC were not ready to handle, and so handled all of them terribly.
Absolutely. You're definitely, that was a good season to miss because it wasn't really enjoyable. I did find like it was interesting we covered that season. So talking about these issues, it was an opportunity as podcasters to be kind of looking at this social experiment and then talking about it in real life with real people. So I thought that it being a platform for that, making the discussions happen, but how they took care of the situation.
Oh, and also, I don't want reality TV to be that platform. You know what I mean?
But then would that mean that you wouldn't be able to have people of color on these shows if you're not, you know what I mean?
I totally understand what you mean. And it's not that, it's just that I don't trust ABC and The Bachelor to handle those things responsibly. And like, I don't know, like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler hosted the Golden Globes this year, right? And they were talking about how it still wasn't diverse enough. And I think the line was, inclusivity is important in everything, even things that are very dumb, like the Golden Globes. And so like for reality TV, it's like we need inclusivity for important things, but we also need inclusivity for something like Love Island. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Be diverse, but keep it dumb.
The problem was though is that they weren't sticking with like that plan. You know, they wanted Matt James to basically redeem them for their 20 years of non-inclusion. And they're hoping,
Exactly. So instead of taking on that responsibility themselves, they get
put it on him,
and they're like, okay, Matt, fix it. It's your responsibility now.
This is what they did, I think, a bit last season with Love Island. So Caleb and Justine were not being heavily featured. They were, I believe, the only Black couple on this for the whole show that were getting along, and people started doing their own super sleuthing, being like, "Oh, we've seen them together. We've seen them holding hands. We've seen them this and that." Like they're just saying all these things that they've been seeing them do, and there was like a hideaway that we never saw, that the show never like showed. And so I do think that with all like the buzz around this couple, then they started focusing on that couple, and they put the couple that they wanted to focus on, which was Selly and Johnny, to the background, and then they made Johnny the villain more so, and then they're now trying to make Caleb and Justine the hero couple, because they were hearing the pitchforks and the cries of the people out there, and they're trying to fix it, and they have this Black couple now going to be representing them, which was it was the first time it's ever happened in all of Love Island. I don't know, like maybe in the newer seasons of like France and all that stuff, I'm not sure about their representation levels and who has won, but UK and US is what I'm familiar with, and it's never happened that two Black people win the show. And so I think that even with that couple, they weren't really that into each other. Well, Justine, I think, was more into Caleb than he was to her, but I think that that's why they ended up staying together for longer than they probably wanted to, is because they had the weight of this, like, they needed to be the first African-American couple on the show to win. Like, and so they had to work now. They have to work, or it's like everybody's just going to fall apart. So
well, that's the thing. It's like for me, equality would be that like everybody has the chance to participate in this fluffy, fun reality show without having to become a symbol for all of Black love, for a symbol of all Latino love, which is like what it feels like these producers keep endowing on to their diverse contestants. And it's
what I think that they need to do? I think it's actually pretty easy. I think they just need to cast attractive people from all backgrounds that like people from all backgrounds. Like that is
racist. Just no racist. That shouldn't be a hard rule to follow. Like from everything I heard from The Bachelor, it's like, just don't let racists in. You keep letting in racists.
Exactly. Well, and also like if we're talking about Love Island, like, so obviously no racist, but like if you want people to not feel left out, everybody has to be everybody's type. You know what I mean? Like in Love Island UK right now, most of the guys are like, they only love blondes and blue hair and blue eyes. Like, and it's like, Okay, so the black girl from Africa, originally with darker skin, has no shot with 3 of these guys because she is definitely not their type. And so then she gets picked last again, or didn't get picked at all, just got the person on the subs bench that's not really that into her. And she has to like just be scraping at maybe people maybe paying her a little bit of attention. It's like, well, maybe cast people that are interested in people from Africa. Like,
and that's the thing too, like that's like the thing is that we keep perpetuating this like, oh, blonde haired, blue eyes, because like we keep, you're exactly right, we keep casting people with a specific type. And it's just be like what those 3 contestants who only go for blonde hair, blue eyes, they are not a representative of anything. They're not like tastemakers of the world. You know what I mean? But then they edit it in a way like where they show this woman from Africa feeling sad and rejected. And like that's not true. It's just these 3 individuals that they had the power to say no to. Right?
They said yes to these people that are not interested in you.
And the thing is that wouldn't the show be more interesting if everybody was everybody's type? Because then they're going to get overwhelmed. And the fun of the show should be, I don't know who to pick. I'm overwhelmed.
Right? Or like, oh my God, everybody's so good looking. Oh my God, my head is being turned. I never thought my head would be turned. But like the black woman never has that experience of like having so many people to choose from. It's always like, hopefully the one guy that I kind of like and he kind of likes me a bit doesn't get his head turned. Like it's kind of the storyline is like, hopefully.
Why I have high hopes for Trina, because Trina seems to be like number one. Like I have high hopes for this season. I think you know, I mean, maybe I'm speaking too soon, but so far it feels. Last season I remember like the first pair up, and it was like they like matched. We had Moira and that tattooed guy. There was Mackenzie and the dumb guy.
Connor.
And like people were just like, oh, we were matched. I guess this is it. And then it like got boring. Like I found last season very boring because people were just like, I guess this. Okay. This season it really does seem like, I don't know. I mean, we'll get into it, but I have high hopes because it feels like nobody is like super stoked on their first match. Everybody's open.
That's definitely true. They're not stoked at all. Hi, Jaquan. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. So what do you have to say here? I think that with every Love Island shows, besides the South Africa, the darker skinned women always get picked last or just to settle. Absolutely. And like, I don't think that is fair. I don't think that it's fair for somebody to have to like know that they're going to feel that way most likely. When who was it? Somebody was watching Kaz's experience and they're like, yep, I know what she's going through. I know what it feels like. Kaz is a woman from the UK. And she's like, yep, I know it. Yep, I wasn't picked either. Oh, yep. And I was just like the default. And it's like, why is that a common story? Like, that's just that is unfair in itself when it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to get people that only like blondes. You can get people. I know every single person I know has like multitudes of different people that they are interested in. So why can't you find people that don't have a closed-minded tastes, you know?
Exactly. Like I never want to hear the conversation between 2 contestants ever again about being like, oh, you're my type. You're my type.
I mean, that's going to stay there forever.
Like the only type they should be interested in is like the personality type. You know what I mean? Like I love a goofball. I love someone that doesn't take themselves seriously, but like,
or if you have a type, it could be like, you know what? I don't specifically have a type. I love all women from all different backgrounds. You know, I tend to like somebody that, you know, maybe is a little bit more made up and like likes to take care of themselves. You could say maybe things like that aesthetically, how they take care of themselves. But I think that they need to say like, Everybody's my type. I'm interested in everybody. I've dated everybody. I've had to have interracial relationships before. I've dealt with those kind of questions and people looking us in relationships. So like there's all these questions that people that have never been in an interracial relationship, if they have, they would have some knowledge about and they would be able to go in confidently. So I wish that they would just figure this out because I don't think it's that big of a, like, that's hard to do. Did you watch Are You the One last season?
I did not watch last season.
I believe last season they did a completely like gender fluid, like everybody was completely open.
I thought they did gender fluid the season before, but
well, I completely forget that 2020 was a year. I just kind of actually omit it. So correct, 2 years ago.
No. And like, yeah, exactly. Like if a show that consistently has some of the dumbest people in the universe on it, like Are You the One, can accomplish what they can accomplish with a gender fluid season, then no other show has any excuse. And I have to say that, like, I think people who have a type, like a physical type, I mean this, and I think for the most part, they're kind of damaged people who are like, because for me, when someone's like, oh, I have a type, and then you see a picture of their mom or their dad, that's their type. So like the only people that genuinely have like a physical, like, deal breaker, they need to look this way, are people who are very confused about their mommy and daddy issues.
Well, and they're also probably not well-rounded. Like they're not worldly. They haven't visited a lot of countries, a lot of places. They're probably most likely small, not small town, but like knows their boundaries. Like they haven't really extended beyond them. Because if you've gone to every country in the world, there's chances are you're going to find somebody attractive in every country you go to. You know what I mean? But if you only stay where you're from and where you're used to and where you're comfortable and with seeing the same faces and the same friends, like chances are you're going to only have like, you know, your tastes are going to be smaller. It's kind of like, you know, if you only go to one restaurant and it's your favorite restaurant and you love that restaurant, you're probably not going to try another restaurant because it kind of like, it scares you. It's a little bit too wild, and you might not like it. You don't want to not like it. So you're not going to try it. You stick to your boring restaurant. You know?
Oh, for sure. You're talking to someone with like a Scotch-Irish heritage. Like, we are responsible for Appalachian mountain culture. You know what I mean? It's like you, your cousins, everybody else is terrifying to you. It's like, that is why we are such a violent, messed up people.
Oh, no.
So if your family is very clan, you know, go to college as far away as possible.
Yeah, get some new perspectives.
Develop some empathy.
I do have to say, I loved the beginning of this new season, this premiere. They had everybody kind of doing their whole in the water, they're swimming underwater. We had the narrator talking, and like it was quite beautiful, and everybody just looked gorgeous, and like like the different, you know, poses and model shots. Loved it. And then we have Ariel being all silly and goofy with her little snorkel and face mask. I really enjoy how she's willing just to look silly and like get wet, and she really also interacts with the contestants. That's what I loved about Caroline Flack, rest in peace, in the UK, was that she really connected, I felt, with the Islanders. And that's what's missing in the UK right now. I don't find that the host now has the same kind of banter and connectivity with the new Islanders. And so I find that before I didn't love Ariel, just because it's like season one, I think I just really didn't like. I started to like her last year, and now even the beginning of this year, I like her even more. So I was really happy to see her.
Like she is so hot and funny, and she's really confident, but like you can tell she really likes her job. Yeah. And when you're watching someone who likes what they're doing, you're hooked, right? Like, again, like Chris Harrison is gone from The Bachelor, but to compare, did you ever for a second feel like Chris Harrison was happy to be there? Like, it just seemed like a massive pain in his ass that every year
he's $600,000 an episode.
$600,000 an episode, and he's basically like rolling his eyes. You can feel his discomfort.
This is the fun rose.
Yeah, exactly. And then like Ariel, she's like, she's doing little skits, and like honestly, when she sat with the girls to check in with them, it's like, oh my God, she honestly cares.
She does.
Yeah, so totally agree. I'm a big Ariel fan.
So I don't even know if I took good notes to be able to go through this, but we'll see what happens. So the first, so all the girls are lined up, and the first out is, Cash. They do the Cash and Olivia. They come and they do the whole open up the bottle of champagne thing. So Olivia's always talking about herself being a tomboy. She's the oldest of 4. Cash says that she has some commitment issues, and she mentions that she recently shaved her head. So I thought that this was interesting. And I thought that this was like, not that she shouldn't have shaved her head. I think she looks gorgeous. I think that like the bald look is very fierce. But it definitely takes a confident man to be to saddle up next to somebody who's that confident enough to be rocking a shaved head. So I just don't know if the men that they're going to be casting is ready for that woman. You know what I mean? Like, she's already strong.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like it's just like she's like too good for the format. You know what I mean? Like, because all reality TV is looking to make good television, and good television is conflict, whether that's coming from within, like personal insecurity, or like throwing your insecurity on other people. So when you have someone who is as confident as she is, like she was like talking about like her like physical strength a lot too, and she's coming in like I thought she looked more beautiful when she took off her wig, Tanya, I believe she called it.
Yes.
And it's like, do you know how hot you have to be to pull off short hair? Like, you have to be so unbelievably hot. Like, I could never. It's not going to happen. I would look like an old man if I. So just like that, like the proof is in the pudding. But I'm so glad she did. My only comment for Olivia is like, it's just like hearing her talk. I was like, oh, this is every woman on the West Coast. I know this type very well. Like, she's just like every West Coast mountaineer tomboy rolled into one. And I was like, huh, okay. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like I'm not necessarily excited by her. I do feel like I've seen her before, Yeah. Juan says, I hope this season doesn't feel like the UK because theirs feels so rushed. Bringing in new people and then having a recoupling, I prefer giving them a few days so we can get to know them. Absolutely. That's something that I do think that the UK is doing incorrectly this season, is that, for instance, they had the 5 women that started. One woman, she's gorgeous. I think she was Southeast Asian is what she looked like. She never really said what her background was, but that's what I would assume. Her last name is Singh. And so she didn't really connect with the first person that she was coupled up with. Then they bring in a bombshell, right, second episode, and the bombshell chose the guy that she wanted, which happened to be the girl Shannon's, and Shannon didn't care for him, so she was really happy that he might be able to find something new with this girl. And then she gets a text, she's going home.
Yeah.
What? Like she was like there for like less than 2 days, and like I didn't find that to be compelling TV. Like her shocked face because she's going home in 2 days. Like, what was the payoff there? So I hope that they allow us to get to know each other, because if we're getting to know them, that means they're getting to know each other, and drama comes when relationships happen.
Exactly. Like, it's just good storytelling. You're going to learn this in any creative writing class. Like, we have to be invested in the characters, right? And for that, we need time. And by time, I mean minimum 3 episodes. You know, like, it's not that bad. Put them in costumes, make them play a stupid game, you know, but if we're not invested in the contestants, and I felt this happen a little bit in season 2 last year, it was a little too quick. So it's like, wait, I don't even know who this is. And now, like, you know what I mean? So
already shaking up the villa, and it's like, who cares? Like, I mean, shake it up. Like, I want to see new people. Right now, I want them to shake up the UK because I don't like any of the guys in there, so I want them all to be gone.
Imagine, like, they should do that. They should have, like, at any point, all of the women can get together and say veto, and then all the guys get kicked out, and they send in all new men. I think,
and all the new men will be older than 25.
Yes, and
because like they're all 21 on the show, and there's like girls that are like 29, and you're just like, that's just never gonna work, babe.
Like, oh God, no. Like,
that's something though that I think that this season of Love Island has done well so far. That everybody I think the youngest person is 23, but most people were between 25 and 29, I believe. So I'm happy about that for sure. They couldn't even go to sleep first before you bring in 2 new guys. Exactly. It's so annoying.
Exactly. Like, at least a sleepover. Excellent point.
Definitely. Like, they don't even know if they like each other. They don't even know if they like the way they smell. Like, you know, like there's nothing, like, they don't know if like their breathing sign that really annoys them. Like, you know, they don't know if they like these people. And I would suspect, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but they're all gonna jump ship because like they're not interested. They don't care. Like, they didn't like them to begin with. So let's go check out these new guys.
It's like you can't shake up nothing. You know what I mean? It's like you can't it's delicate. You gotta build the house of cards high enough so that when it blows over, it's devastating. Like, right now we got like 2 cards and they just fell over. So it's like,
oh, no stakes. Who cares? But like, if you're like, whoa, man, up to the top, and then you're like, you know, I learned that in Meisner. It's knocks and activities, you know, like you have to do this activity that's something really difficult that you're trying to do. It becomes compelling because it's like a lot is invested in it. So they're not investing enough in these relationships.
I once got taken on a date to like the Tchaikovsky Film Festival, and his movies are long and boring. And this movie, the climax of the movie is that an old man lights a candle and tries to walk it across an empty pool. It's like a 30-minute scene of this man just keep walking, and the candle goes out, and then he goes back and starts over. And by the end, when he finally does it, I felt like the whole audience orgasmed together.
Oh my God, you'd probably be like, just do it. But he invested that 30 minutes in like his struggle and him trying to do it and us wanting him to have success. And like, we're here for him. And they built this, you know, us wanting this compassion for this old man. And then they just don't even care about that on Love Island. They're just like, oh, we'll just put in some new people, and like people will just be upset that they get kicked off early.
Like, first night, instead of like after Suck and Blow, they should have, you know, those like questions that like if you ask them on a date, you fall in love.
Yeah.
That should be night 1. They should separate. They're like, okay, this is your couple. You're all going on a date. You have to go through these questions because they're going to get so much material. And it's impossible to not like have affection for someone when they're being vulnerable. And then introduce 2 new guys and see what happens. It's going to be better TV.
Absolutely, it would be better after you've cried about them and being like, have you pictured yourself how you're going to die, and all these like very, very deep questions, and like you're having these moments. And then they bring in 2 new men, and this men is your type, and you're just like, I just had this moment with this person, and he's picking me for a date. Like, it just like the betrayal, like it just stakes.
It's not rocket science, guys. Not rocket.
They need to create stakes, and they do not create any stakes. They just think that good-looking people is enough. It's not enough, guys. It's not enough. So Kira comes in next. They talk about, her love language is physical touch. She's boy crazy, so that's good for the show. But she's been single for the last 5 years, so she's ready to get into a relationship for sure, I would say. You have something to say about her?
Okay, she's 23. So she's been single since she was 18?
Yeah, like she probably had like a high school relationship.
She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know what she wants. I mean, no. I was just so bored. I was like, I can't imagine her having any of the tools to be clear. So maybe they're hoping she'll be a hot mess. But I don't know, man. Bland.
No, they just want her to be hot. They don't seem to get it. They don't seem to get, like, I find that a lot of the reality TV producers and our story writers don't really understand what makes things actually compelling. I was introduced to this idea, and like I thought about it myself by this man named Sandhurst, and he was on a reality TV show like 10 years ago, and he was talking about how the moment that everything changed in reality TV was when Teresa flipped over that table in the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And now they're always trying to recreate that like epic moment. But that epic moment happened organically with real people having real emotions in like real time and really angry. And then the table flip happens. You can't just make people angry and expect a table flip to happen unless it's forced, because it was so organic. That's why it was so electric. You can't fake these things, and that's what I feel like they're doing. They think that they flip the table, being like, "We'll put in 2 new guys in there. We're going to create some drama," but like it doesn't create drama if you haven't have all the relationships and the friction and the familiarity and the loyalty and all that stuff beforehand. So then when the table flip happens, it's electric. So,
and I do not think Kira has. Her mileage is too low. She hasn't lived enough life that I don't think. Yeah, I think she's gonna be gone soon. Honestly, I think she's gonna be gone soon.
I mean, she's really pretty, so maybe she won't be. But when people are really young and immature in relationship, like they can't last that long because they just don't bring that much to the table, and it becomes boring. Yeah. We have Shannon also comes in. She doesn't like blondes, that's good to hear, but she is blonde. She's definitely a flirt and a control freak. I'm interested to see her journey because I feel like she would be somebody that kind of stirs the pot a little bit. Like I can see a lot of people liking her, and which is what ends up happening. And then I can see her not really caring that much and just like using her feminine power over these men.
Yeah. All I wrote for Shannon was made in the same lab that Tara Reid was made.
Same lab. It is the same lab. She reminded me of somebody I knew in real life, so you don't know this person. I was like, she looks exactly like this person.
I feel like she's like the cool girl trope. You know what I mean? It's like, what? I'm just like insanely hot, but like I love sports and beer. So I want more. I want to see a little bit more.
I'm interested in her, to be honest. Like, if she's gonna be this like man eater, like I'm down with it. Like, give it to me. So let me see, Trina. The only thing that Trina really says is that she can spot red flags, and so I'm happy to see Trina coming in here because it seems like she's gorgeous, obviously, but like I feel like she knows what she wants and she's willing to go after it. So I'm interested to see her journey as well. So I love that they were guessing each other's zodiac signs, and they were guessing completely wrong for Trina. But like the fact that we already kind of talked about all their zodiac signs, I was like, yes. Do you know what? Like, why don't you guys, even just looking at that, is like making compatible signs being in the villa would be even one step more helpful to getting people to be compatible of different ethnicities and backgrounds. That would be, because it just people get along. So I wish that they would look into that.
I did think of you when they started talking about Australia. I was like, oh, Chantel's going to love this. All I wrote for Trina is a sex-positive genius oozing self-love.
Aww.
She is too good for the villa.
She's too good for the villa for sure. Definitely too good for the villa. So Ariel shows up in her vintage convertible. I love the cars that she always gets to drive. Nice red car. And so she's talking to all the women before they actually are going to be chosen by the men. So Ariel wants to know if any of them are boy crazy. And what else did they say? Trina talks about how her last relationship was 2 years ago, but she did come out of a 5.5-year relationship before that. Olivia says she wants a husband, which I actually believe she wants a husband. I do feel that from her. And
there's nothing wrong with that. What I do love this season so far,
they're older.
That I hate like in the past, it's again the cool girl trope, right? So like I don't think wanting a husband makes you needy, desperate, or whiny, which is how women who have wanted commitment are always depicted.
Well, and I think that's why they usually make the women older, and so that they can play into that narrative of like, oh, she's like desperately wants to control this young guy, and he just wants to live his like bachelor life, and she just wants to like control him. Sorry, go on.
Exactly. Like same page, total agreement, because it's the kind of thing like wanting commitment doesn't make you anything except for wanting commitment. And I would love us to pull that narrative out of these types of shows. And I also think, because I think there are a lot of men who want commitment, but feel like that's not manly, even though like and it has nothing to do with femininity, masculinity. It just has to do with what you want. So I like that they, like a lot of them, and that Ariel was kind of like confidently supporting them and being like, yeah, I want commitment. I want a husband. I thought that was great.
Yes, it definitely is great to hear. And like, I think that she might be able to get it. I did not with this first round of guys, but I like the fact that she's willing to put that out there, that that's what she wants and that's what she's coming here for. So everybody's going to have to go through that filter. She's not necessarily going to be hiding what she's looking for. So that's, I think, really good start.
Nor should she.
Nor should she. Exactly. Cachet does take off her wig and talks about it being Tanya. So I do like that there's a playfulness about that. It's not, there's no shame. There's no like weirdness. Like she made it very comfortable, her taking off her wig and sharing with us her shaved head. So I like that moment.
I loved it. It was like a true RuPaul's Drag Race wig on a wig reveal, but like 1,000 times better. And like I just thought she looked like, I don't know, when it's like when she revealed it, she lit up and was just like so much more beautiful. So I was here for it. Was here.
Me too. So they go, well, usually they make them stand in the like a shallow end of a pool, but they didn't have that logistically at this villa.
I thought it was a safety thing. I think maybe someone slipped last year, because I would always get nervous because they would like step in the pool and like someone's going to fall over. So it was less stressful for me. I'm glad they didn't do it in the pool.
Okay, that's some good sense.
Safety
so first out is Josh. So if we remember yesterday, Josh was just kind of like the athlete, like, white guy, good looking.
There's always a Josh. I wrote down Josh loves his own torso, his eyes, and his family. Okay. And I hate when guys say this, when they're like, I'll play around, don't have trouble with the ladies, but when I have a girlfriend, then I treat her like a queen. No, I hate that. Like, I hate that it's like some women I treat like garbage, but some women I treat really well. It's like just.
And then it's always probably like the women that he treats really well, he actually probably cheats on them as well, because like, they're
like, no, you don't like, you don't have women aren't categories. You aren't like, these are the women that I sleep around with, but then there's this other like section of women that I would never do that with, but I'm lying to myself and I'm deluded. So actually I treat them exactly the way I treat these other women. So like, there's always a Josh. Who's like, oh, I'm a dick, but I love my family. Aren't I redeemable? Not a fan. Not a fan of Josh.
I mean, I would never get caught up in like I personally need some swagger. I need some substance. I need some depth. I need some banter. I need some humor. I need some intelligence. Like these are some things that the archetype of the prototype of Josh doesn't usually have, and him like being good with his family should be an add-on. It should be his only redeeming quality. So
entire personality. His entire personality is baseball and his family. You know what I mean? Like
his torso, according to you.
His torso. He's a big fan of his own torso.
So Shannon steps forward, so does Trina, and so does Kira. Wait, Josh. Oh yeah, Shannon. I keep on thinking Shannon is Olivia, and I was like, what? Because I feel like that she doesn't suit her name right now.
No.
I just don't picture her being a Shannon. Interesting. So Shannon is who he chooses. From what he said about his type, like it seems like Shannon fits his type. She's obviously stunning. She's very generically stunning, but stunning. And he picks her, and no surprise there. And she found him attractive as well. So let's go.
Yeah.
Corey comes out. We didn't think that Corey was going to come out as an OG, I think. I think that we thought that those tats was going to come in as a lady killer, as a bombshell. But nobody steps forward for him. And this is probably because of what you said. Like, people are terrified of those tattoos and what is underneath the man that's covered in those tattoos. Like, what deep, dark secret?
It's just a lot. You know what I mean? I think anyone who has a thing about them that like comes off as a little compulsive is just a turn off for everybody. You know what I mean? And that many tattoos, like it's not against tattoos. It's just anything, right? Like if I came in like twitching and like turning the lights on and off, like people would just automatically be like concerned for me. They're like, oh, she's to be struggling with something. She is self-soothing, and I think that that to me is
it's kind of like it's an acceptable form, I would say, of cutting. And sorry, I just put a little disclaimer if anybody has any issues. It's a little bit of a trigger warning potentially. So sorry for bringing that up without addressing that it could be a trigger. But you know, I've met a lot of people that have, especially in their teenage years, used cutting to soothe themselves. And so with these tattoos and this over excessiveness, there's probably something about the pain that, like you said, is soothing, self-soothing, kind of like cutting, that there's a deeper issue, I would say, that's going on underneath the tattoos. And I wouldn't be that excited about jumping up into a relationship with him because I wouldn't necessarily want to be helping him through it.
No, and that's the kind of thing. It's like we all have the responsibility and the opportunity and the joy of taking care of ourselves, and it's just a human nature, natural thing. Like when you see someone and it feels like they're not taking care of themselves, it's just a human response to kind of back up. The one thing I did right for Corey is I love that he was like, there's a difference between confident and cocky, but that he did not give us the definition and did not.
Well, I think that part of him thinks that having all these tattoos makes him edgy and makes him like mysterious and kind of cool and like dangerous. I think it's partially gives him a bit of a personality because he's probably so hurt and sad that like he doesn't want to go into the deep ooey gooey I'm wondering what happened with him growing up. Like I feel like what was his family life like, because I'm worried about that.
And if they took my advice and did the questions, we would know these things right away. It's like,
maybe what do you think if we started our own dating show where like all that the people do, like you want to find your partner, you're going to go through these questions with them. And then we're going to see if you guys connect. And then maybe we'll do like the second part, 1 to 10 questions, and then 2 to 11 to 15 or whatever it is, and just like break it down. And like your dates are like those questions, and see how you connect. and like,
yes,
I'd watch that. I think that'd be compelling.
I think it'd be really compelling. And I think that the rule is that every time you match with someone new, you immediately have to go do those questions.
I would love it. Because like I want to see the drama. I want to see people fall in love. I want to see real, I want to get goosebumps. I want to see this. I don't buy into the fantasy. I want to see people actually connect. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, that's what we all want. And especially after this year, right? Like after this year of like just screens, being on our own, like I think we're all like, we need that comfort of knowing like, oh, right. Like we're still humans. Like, we can still do this. Anyway, Kira. Which is like, which now that I think about it, like maybe they actually are a good match, because to me they are both like the lead, like the most devoid of like soul, you know what I mean? Like feelings, life experiences. Like it seems like two people who have no idea what they want. And like, so like for now it's fine, but you could tell like not her type. She's not really in it.
She wasn't into it at all. No. And I just didn't even really see him actually being into any of the women either.
Because I think you could tell that they're too advanced for him.
You'd have to, like, getting into a relationship is actually revealing a bit of yourself. And I just don't know if he's willing to reveal a bit of himself. And I think that's also what these women are picking up from all these tattoos, that like he's hiding his true self. There's something going on that this is a distraction and soothing of, and like he seems like he has a whole bottle of issues that I wouldn't be like ready to go and like, I'm going to start a relationship with you because like I want to go and uncover all these issues. I mean, I'm interested in them as a person on the outside. Like I want to know what he's gone through, because it has to have been probably very traumatic. But as a new partnership on a dating show, he would be my last pick, 100%.
Last pick.
Next is Christian, who comes in, and again, nobody steps forward. No surprise there. He's a little more likable than his like videos and stuff like that, but I'm also not into him. You liked him?
I was pleasantly surprised with Christian. He did a lot better than I thought he was going to do. And, so far he's bringing pretty chill vibes. And I think that's needed. Like, not everyone can be like a crazy hothead, but like I could tell that like, who did he originally pick? Trina?
Correct.
Yeah, he originally picked Trina. I don't think anyone there is a fit for him. Like, I just don't think there's a there.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No.
I was like, maybe Shannon, but no. I mean, not. I don't even know what his type would be, though.
I think like a little bit more yoga hippie chick. You know what I mean?
Like super cool, like
yeah, like a really
white girl dreads.
Maybe dreads, but like definitely the kind of girl that like it's like, oh, she doesn't even wear makeup, but like secretly like spends like a fortune on skincare. Like comes across as like natural hippie chick, but like is
she's
still
just,
like
no, I can see where you're going. Like the girl, she's just so cool. She's so cool. Yeah, like she's gorgeous, but like she's one of the guys. She's just like so cool. Like I can see him talking about someone like that. And she's like, she's in her bikini on the surfboard, and she's just rad chick. She's just rad.
If one of those, like that's what I'm assuming, and I just don't think. I don't know. It's just such a weird pick to me, like to throw Christian into that mix.
Yeah, he's not. I don't know. So he picks Trina. Giovanni comes in as well, and he goes down the slide. Interesting move. But nobody steps forward for him.
Yeah, I wrote Giovanni was made in the same lab that made LMFAO.
LMFAO though, don't they have rich? Isn't their parents rich? One of them, anyways. Like
I think, and I think they're like uncle and nephew somehow, but are like similar ages. But like I don't know. I was a big fan of Giovanni. I think
I like him. I would probably pick him out of anybody to couple up with.
Yeah.
Because he's tall. He seems like fun. And he seems kind of smart. Like, he just doesn't seem kind of just like, I'm just a hot guy. Like, he does seem like we would have a good time and, like, get along. So out of all the guys so far, I think that Giovanni, for me, would be my pick.
Personality-wise, too, because he's joyful. He's actually interested in people. He likes people, it feels like. You know what I mean? Like, he's like a true extrovert. It's like his happy place. Mm-hmm. Honestly, like I like skinny guys. I like them. Ooh, like, and so like I had high hopes for Christian because like I don't know, muscles overwhelm me. It's too much, too much strength. I was like, if like Christian cut off that blonde and had Giovanni's, I want a Frankenstein. I want Christian's physique with new hair but Giovanni's personality thrown into him. That I'll Frankenstein my pick. There you go.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, I would keep. No, I just keep Giovanni as he is. I'm not into anything to do with Christian, really. Sorry, Christian. Not my thing. Not my thing at all. I mean, but if his personality was better, he could be. But that whole package isn't working for me. So nobody steps forward for him. He was a little bit hurt, I think, by that. But he ends up picking Olivia, which I was definitely surprised by. I didn't think he was going to pick Olivia.
I didn't think so either, but like I was kind of into it. Like I think they both have great personalities, so at the very least, it's two pretty good personalities together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I want to see if they end up working out. But I just didn't really think that they were going to be a good match at all.
No, like they're not going the distance at all.
I don't think so, but I would like them to. And then lastly, we have Jeremy. So he thinks that he's not going to be leaving without a girl. He has like long hair, and Kira, Trina, and Cash all stepped forward for him. So people were into his dimples. And I was happy that I don't like the feeling when nobody steps forward for any of the guys, because like that's just really awkward. Like anytime, like it just doesn't feel good ever. Even if like it's just he didn't make eye contact, like I don't know, like you look like my ex-boyfriend, like whatever the reasons are, it still doesn't take away like that like pain of just like not feeling wanted. So I don't really like that. Go ahead.
It would help if they just shouted it out. Like honestly, if it were me and I'm standing there, like I think it would be funny, like be like, I'm not going to step forward because you look like my ex-boyfriend, but clearly that means I think you're hot. Yeah, I just wrote for Jeremy. Looks like steroid jacked Luke Wilson.
Yeah, I see it. I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
With hair, with longer hair.
Like took an air pump to Luke Wilson, blew him up like the Michelin Man.
So by default, because Trina gets picked out by Jeremy, Christian. Wait, who gets the? How did that work?
So
Cash and Christian end up being together because there was no other people for Christian to pair up with, and Jeremy took away Christian's partner. So this is what Sam has to say, and I agree with you, Sam. This is awful to think this way, but I was surprised, so was I, when Trina was picked twice, even though I thought she was stunning. Absolutely, I'm totally with you here, and I was happy that it actually happened. There isn't always much luck for Black women, absolutely. So I was definitely surprised and pleased that she got two people that were very interested in her. And yeah, I think that was a smart move for the fans of these people. So if they were thinking of like playing to the audience at all, like they did a good job there. Like go for the hot Black girl.
Yeah.
Hi, Tina. So team Trina and Cash, of course, like they're both like, I find them to have the most interesting personalities so far on the show. And then next up would be Shannon, and then Olivia, and then I don't think Trina really brings, or is that her name? Kira brings that much to the table. I don't like Jeremy for Trina.
I agree. I don't either. I don't
It's
think
just whack.
Jeremy is good enough for Trina. Like honestly, like
Yeah.
I think like I said yesterday, Jeremy and you know what? Jeremy might be too immature, too young, not enough like life experience for Olivia even. I think Olivia is bringing too much to the party. Like honestly, Kira maybe, but
Yeah, these people just seem so like vapid and just like devoid of any sort of real depth. I mean, I know that there's going to be a certain caliber of people that are going to apply on the show, and what the producers seem to want from the show isn't necessarily someone that has a lot of depth. But I just wish that they would pick really amazing people and like maybe try to actually match them. Like,
because
I think
make it hard. Make it hard. Have like three options, three amazing options. Like, could you like and that would like that's like we want to see people in conflict with themselves, and it's like, could you imagine, like I can't imagine if I like totally different, like but like three different contestants who brought something to the table. Like, oh yes, like I don't know.
I mean, I think I need to create my own show, to be honest, because like they have they're almost good. Almost. Hi, Ms. Love. So I'm willing to give Jeremy a chance, given that it was just the first episode. We'll see. I'll give him a little bit of a chance. Absolutely. I'll give him a chance, and I'm going to give Giovanni a chance. The other guys, I'm kind of like, meh, let's have some new people. Because I don't even remember who they are. So with Jeremy and Trina, it can go good or bad, weird, because he's laid back and she's energetic. I hope she doesn't get hurt. I think that she has control in this one. I think that he's a little bit like soft in that way. I think he'll let her do her thing. I don't see them connecting to the point where he breaks up with her and goes after somebody else and she gets hurt. I don't think they'll get to that point.
I have to say the feeling I get from both Jeremy and Trina is that they are kind-hearted. They're sweethearts.
Agreed.
So I don't think there's going to be a lot of drama there, just because I think they're both decent and like, you know what I mean? So I think they're both going to get a better option. Yeah.
So Tina's saying, I haven't looked at the first look yet, but Cinco and Trina were kissing in the preview last night, so maybe Jeremy will step up, hopefully. Hopefully, though, like, if he's interested in her, actually, he'll be like, whoa, like, I don't want to lose my girl. I agree, Tina. It can go either way. I just don't see him having enough hold on her from what he's shown anyways. Yeah. So do UK Islanders take it more seriously? Some of them are married, have kids together, or been together for a few years, while US normally break up in a few months. Absolutely. I do feel as though the people in the UK, when they're even younger, they are part of what they're looking for is a committed relationship. They're always looking, I want my bird, my what do they call it, guys? My geezer. Like they are always looking for a partnership. It's more of a partnership environment. I find people are looking to get married. Than the US, they're looking to get laid. That's, I think, the difference.
I agree too. Like, I think, and also, like, I think in the UK, like, people are just more realistic, right? Like, it's like they kind of accept that, like, you're never going to find your perfect person because there's no such thing as a perfect person. Mm-mm. And they kind of understand that, like, you know, when you find someone you care about and it's a good connection, they understand that that takes work. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, all relationships take work, and they accept that it's going back to the fantasy. Yeah. Americans, Americans are so desperate for their Disney princess fairy tale that when something doesn't live up to it at the first sign, they bail. Like, there's more. Oh, I'll find someone else. I'll find someone else. I'll find someone else. It's like they're overwhelmed by selection. Whereas, like, UK is like, well, she's a babe and I like her. Great.
And even the promiscuous ones still end up in long-term relationships. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's a few guys on like Geordie Shore and stuff like that like F around and all that stuff. But then they end up in like these 3.5-year long relationships. Like they still, to their core, they want a relationship. They have that foundation of like being in a committed relationship. And I'd have to say that all my friends' parents that are like a UK background, they're all still together.
Yeah.
All of them. And like even my dad, like he's not with my mom anymore, but he's with my stepmom for the last 35 years. You know what I mean? So like, my dad's from England. If that's supposed to make that make sense. Yeah. But I'm just there's no commitment phobia. That's kind of what it runs through, I think, North America.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I've found that in dating too. And it's like the kind of thing like when I've been seeing someone for 4 or 5 months kind of thing. But it was like that, like before that, it was like the most common thing you heard on a date was, I'm not looking for anything serious. I'm not looking for anything serious.
Right.
And I would just straight up say to them, I'm like, well, that's kind of a sentence that doesn't mean anything, because your definition of serious won't be my definition of serious. And if you are so closed-minded and afraid to walk into something new with a closed mind and a closed heart, then I don't have time for you.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm just
if someone said that, I'd be like, okay, good, that we're not going to go out on a date then. Like,
well, the thing is that like it's just, and like I think that's kind of the tragedy of online dating, is that you stop seeing people as people and you start seeing them as like one of many options. But the thing is like we're starting to forget what, like when you date someone and there is a connection, that's really special. You know, like that's a special, sweet thing that, you know, shouldn't be scary. I don't understand young people dating today. They're just terrified and horny. That's why they're all lonely.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not down with it. I've been single for forever, and I've definitely not interacted with anybody that I want to get into a relationship with, is because I'm coming up to these people that are just like, yeah, I don't want that. Oh no, I don't want something serious. No, I don't want kids. No, I don't want that. I'm like, oh, like, what do you want? You just want like a companion that you sleep with? I'm like, that was fine 20 years ago, but like now, like I want a little bit more than that. I want to have a different experience than like, you know, being promiscuous. Like I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
So definitely I want people to grow up and be a little bit more British. And that's probably also why I'm more intrigued by watching the UK version, is because I know that they're looking more so for a committed relationship. They don't usually cast people that just want to go bang the chicks. Maybe there's one, maybe there's two, but like not usually. And I feel like that's what it's like for all the men in the US versions. They just kind of want to get laid. Ooh, sorry. Tina does not see Kira and Corey. I think Corey's going to leave. Yeah, I don't think Corey is long for this world.
No.
I do feel that there are people in past seasons of the UK. This season is blah, who's willing to bring more organic drama, which is fun to watch. Organic drama. It's the organic part that we're missing sometimes in reality TV crafting. So there's a bunch of different conversations that happened. I don't think we need to go through all of them. So Cash and Christian, though, was interesting. Like, they kind of came to an agreement that, hey, we're not really that into each other, but, like, let's just have a lot of respect and, like, be kind of open-minded about what we're doing here. But, like... Yeah,
honestly, I would have to say the second half of the episode, Christian was starting to win me over more and more, just because he seemed like when they were sitting with Giovanni and Olivia on the couches, like, I'm like, oh, I think this is like, yeah, I think this dude is fine. I think he's chill. I don't think he's a dick. He's just like a misfit in this particular group.
Yeah, I don't think he's found his home, his people. He's aren't his people. I also, the other interesting coupling that had their first little chat was Josh and Shannon. And Shannon was just kind of like, oh, you're already that into me? Like, I rolled. Like, this, I want a little bit of a chase. Like, she's not interested in Josh being already so into her.
Exactly. And I think I smell game. Like, I think Josh is exactly that kind of dink that, like, comes on super strong, gets a girl to, you know, like let down her defenses, let down her boundaries, kind of get swept up in it, get physically intimate really fast, and then he bounces. And I think Shannon was picking up on that. She was like, what? You're that into me? We've known each other for an hour. So like Shannon grew on me a little bit too. She's smarter than she seems.
She's smarter, and I think that she's going to be in control of that relationship. Like whatever tricks that Josh thinks that he has up his sleeve, like Shannon's seen them and she knows how to work within them. And I don't think that she's going to allow him to break her heart. I think she's going to be in control. I didn't really talk much about Kira and Corey. I just wrote down, they talked about her having pretty eyes, and he says that he's the relationship type. I was like,
it was awkward and boring. Yeah.
Jeremy and Trina, he's impressed by her, especially because of the fact that she has like she's a psychiatric something.
Psychiatric nurse,
just a nurse. Okay, not just, but and that she does. I like the fact though that she does the psych evals for like criminals. I think that that's fascinating as F.
So cool.
I'm like, I kind of want to write that profession into a show.
Yeah,
right. I think like I'm really interested in that story.
I mean, like Trina, like it's like undisputed champion of the season so far. Like beautiful, interesting. Like I want them to bring. I just want her to get like top quality. Jeremy, nothing wrong with him.
It's kind of but
I'm not sure. I'm not sure a personal trainer's going to be able to keep up with her smarts.
You think so, Tina? Sorry, like this just caught me off guard. Really, Tina? I think Josh and Trina would make a good match. I don't think that Josh has enough substance for Trina. I don't think anybody here has enough substance for her. And I think that that's what we're kind of talking about is that like, I think Jeremy has more substance than Josh, and Jeremy doesn't have enough for Trina, in my opinion. I think that she's too good for all these guys so far.
Yeah.
I don't know them that well, so obviously, like, if you're sisters, mothers, like, of these men, I don't know them, so this is just a blanket statement of what they showed me on this TV show. But from what I can see, they just seem like they're looking for a little bit more of a watered-down relationship than I think that what Trina might be looking for.
Honestly, I think Trina and like Christian would get along better than her and Josh. Like at least Christian can have a conversation. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. And Giovanni and Olivia talked relationships a little bit, and he says that he can see himself in a committed relationship. So that, I mean, I think that he's in there with the right mindset. I don't think that Olivia is the girl for him, but I hope that he is able to connect with somebody because I think he's a good guy. I do.
Yeah, I think they're both good peeps. I think definitely it's the kind of thing like they would have like a great couple of dates. There's just not that fire. There's no fire between them.
None.
Yeah.
Now, one little interesting coupling was when Jeremy and Trina were talking in the rain. I was like, you never see rain on these shows. Like, what's going on? Were they did on in Vegas though? Still are they? Because it actually never rains in Vegas. Like,
they're in Hawaii and it rains a lot.
It rains a lot in Hawaii. I knew that they're in Hawaii. Because my dad lives in Las Vegas, and I remember there's one year where it rained so much, and they don't have the right like sewer system to withhold that much rain, and so like the water levels were like car height, like it was just so bad. And like my dad was showing me, like, oh my god, like what's going on in Vegas? So yes, it wasn't Vegas though. It makes sense if it's Hawaii because Vegas very rarely rains.
I did forget to mention this earlier. The thing that made me laugh the hardest was in the intro when they're all in their white bathing suits and Josh was in a waterfall. And when he was in the waterfall, he poured water from his water bottle on top of himself.
I didn't see that. I would have laughed. That's good. That's funny. I mean, was that his idea, you think, or do you think it was the photographer? Was he like, oh my god, this would be so funny? Like, I'm gonna like pour water with my water bottle.
I don't even think his mind is sophisticated enough for him to like think he was making a joke. I think he's that dumb. No. Someone told him to do it, or he thought about it. I can't allow myself to believe that he would be that dumb. I can't.
I can't go there. But Trina does say in her confessional that she wanted to kiss Jeremy. So I wish that had happened. I did see there was a moment where there could have been a kiss. And so I would have liked to see that, to see if there's any like butterflies or if any, feelings were starting to happen. So wish that did happen. So what did I write here? Cash and Christian, other couples are thinking that they will both be picked and get jealous about Giovanni and Olivia. I don't know actually know what I wrote there. We'll just get to second blow. Why are they so bad at second blow? Were they just trying to kiss each other? Because like second blow is a pretty easy game to go around a few times without dropping the card. Like it's not hard.
I don't even know why they need the second blow aspect. Like just get them to read the cards. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they want like the slip up and then maybe like the half weird kiss, like, and see people like.
Speaking of some of those kisses, I thought it like, I don't know. It was one of the most awkward second blows because like, I don't know. I just don't see any really good matches so far.
No. Oh, and sorry, I now know what I was talking about before. What is my notes? So Cash and Christian and Giovanni and Olivia were all talking about the fact that they think that Josh and Shannon were going to be like the eye candy of anybody new potentially coming in and like choosing them for dates. And like, because they're kind of already most booed up out of everybody, they will go in and like maybe want to date Shannon or maybe want to date Josh. And then the other might get jealous. Sorry, that's what that was.
Yeah, like watching that conversation between the four of them, like those four became my favorite contestants.
Absolutely.
Like that's the kind of stuff I want to see. Like, and I think those four will be like the buds throughout the whole thing. Like I'm into it. I could just watch the four of them and that would be an enjoyable television show for myself just because they're all so different. And yeah, I really liked it. I really liked watching Cash and
I do. Yeah, well, I want to see people having real conversations, like not these forced, like have kids once. Like not really asking that. Like you're not having kids with this person. Like you know what I mean? Get to those 30 questions. At least you fall in love. I want to get to those. So this was second blow dare, and so some of the dares were kiss your top 3 girls. I didn't write down who had that dare, but the kisses were Shannon, Trina, and Olivia.
I think Josh got that.
Oh yeah, because he kissed Shannon first. Oh yeah, because he didn't want their first kiss just to be there. Like he was like, oh, I wanted like it was to be a moment. Well, then you shouldn't have kissed her then. Maybe she'd be like, and then he could just be like, babe, like I wanted to save our first kiss for something special, and she would probably be into that.
You have better game than Josh does. Like this guy is hopeless.
Fair. And so the next one was choose 2 Islanders to kiss. And so they chose Cash and Christian to kiss, and she got on top of him and gave them a little kiss. Well, a lot of a kiss. And I was like, okay, girl. I actually couldn't really watch it. I was like one of those like, I felt
already pretty brother sistery. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I don't find them. Yeah, it's not working for me in that way. And then the other one was share a passionate kiss, and that was Trina and Jeremy. So she also gets on top of Jeremy and gives him a little kissy kiss. That I couldn't watch either.
It was it's not sexy. Like
no.
It wasn't sexy. It wasn't fun. Like it was so forced. It was so forced. They should have been getting to know each other.
Yeah, they probably were like knocking teeth, but you can't hear it. Like it just like it didn't look good.
Like at least a drunk dance party first. You know what I mean? Loosened up, get some connections going.
Now there's only a 2 minimum like per day, so or 2 maximum. So you're never gonna get that moment,
Yeah.
So Tina says, I'm not ready for Cinco to pick Trina. If he does, I want to see how her and Jeremy match for now. Me too. I agree.
Yeah.
I wanted Cinco for Cash at first. I mean, I don't see Cinco being interested in Cash, to be honest. Like, I feel like the person that would be interested in Cash would be like another model. You know what I mean? Like somebody like tall, like is used to seeing gorgeous women of different backgrounds, ethnicities, like haircut, like whatever, so they can respect her beauty. Because I feel as though, you know, with Cinco being in the football thing, like I know the women that usually come to those games to try to get themselves a player, you know? And
yeah, and like, let's not forget, like, no offense, but like, he's a football player who now drives a delivery truck. Like, in what universe is he good enough for cash? You know what I mean? Like,
probably not. I cringe at Cass and Tristan's kiss. Yes, me too. Me too. Jared reminds me of last year's Connor. Really?
100%. I'm with you. I'm with you so much. He's a dummy. He's such a dummy.
Connor reminds me of Colton from like, I think that he might have one of those moments like Colton just had with like coming out, because he didn't exude similarly to, in my opinion, Colton, and he kind of sex appealed towards the women. Like I know he kissed and stuff like that, Mackenzie, but I didn't feel like there was any energy and any vibe there. And then some of all of his sexual experiences, I'm like, that sounds like someone that's not into women. And so I'm curious if that will ever come out as something, but never know. That's my prediction, if anybody cares. So we're hoping that for Jeremy, to be honest, I think that she should put herself out there, though, just in case. Trina, I mean, I think that they all should put themselves out there if they have these people coming in. To just know who you like more, since they're not really that invested in anybody. It would be different if they'd been together and sleep in the same bed for 2 nights, and then then it would be like, oh, like, maybe I don't want to go and look at somebody else. But it's the same day. It's like, so who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we're coupled up. We won't sleep in the same bed together tonight, but so silly. So that was all the second blows, and it was, I got a text. It's time for the real game to begin. Welcome to New Islanders. Hashtag say aloha. Hashtag double trouble. So we see Will. So we thought Will might be there beforehand, but he's here now. We think that he might, you know, like, maybe Cash. That would be, because I think he's good looking enough to be able to handle Cash. So I'm hoping that that works out. And he's like, oh, I'm just a guy with a dimple and an accent. So I like that he knows that he's kind of like a dummy, but like he might have more substance than he's letting out. But like he knows, like, I'm just like a hot guy with a dimple and an accent. I'm not. You know.
Like he did seem, you know, like, to steal from the UK, like proper confident. You know what I mean? Like he's proper. Like he knows who he is. He knows he's good looking. It's kind of like the opposite of Corey. You know what I mean? It's a deserved confidence so far.
Yes. And then we see Cinco, and so his name is Cinco. His nickname is Cinco because he's number 5 when he was playing football, and I guess it's stuck, and Cinco is 5 in Spanish.
Yeah,
so,
but dude, over it. Like, you're like, move on with your life. You played football. Okay, great.
but like, if it's a name though that's stuck and everybody calls you that, I could understand.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
and it makes him a little more special. People are going to ask him, like, why are you called Cinco? So, you know, I think it's to make him stand out as well. Because what was his name? Marvin? It's not Marvin. I think Cinco is a bit better, you know?
Yeah.
For
Marvin or Melvin. Who did we predict?
Yeah, I'm good. So I was just going to get to. So you got one prediction correct. You got the Shannon and Josh prediction correct. We all got all them else wrong because we didn't know who were going to be the 5 men that were coming in immediately. So everybody else is wrong. But I'll be interested to see after. So what I'm presuming is going to happen is these guys are going to come in. They're going to have 1 or 2 nights, like, with the coupling sleeping in the same bed together. And then they'll have a fire pit session where the women will pick the guys, and then 2 guys will either be sent home or like 2 girls come in and 1 guy gets sent home. Like, you know what I mean? But like, I think that it might reshuffle after, and these guys might be brought into the mix of some of these relationships. So we'll reevaluate at the next fire pit and dumping session.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I think that's all that really happens today, because it's like, I got a text in 24 hours. They're going to be choosing their new partners. So yes, hashtag rock the boat, hashtag it's like that.
I will make a prediction. I think we're going to say goodbye.
Corey's down.
Corey. And I am curious to know, Olivia, if Olivia was super into that kiss with Christian, because he gave her a passionate kiss, she might choose him. So I think elimination, it's going to be Corey, Christian, and I think he's a great contestant. I think he's awesome, but I don't see any big connection. So I think Giovanni might be going home.
Those three.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Giovanni and Corey went home, and Christian and Cash just kind of stuck together as friends until either one of them maybe found somebody that they were interested in.
Pact, and I think Shannon and Josh,
they're sticking together. They're going to try to win it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, I do agree that they might get asked by a lot of people on dates and stuff like that. Like, I do think that people will be interested, especially in Shannon. But I think that they're smart enough to know that they could probably go the distance together and win the show. So I think that they're going to try to become America's favorite couple.
Awesome.
That's my thoughts. Any last little questions here from our friends here in the chat? So for those who have the app, how do you guys vote for the guys and the girls? I haven't voted yet. So if I can still vote, I'll vote after this. But I forgot. That there's the app component. And Christian will go home this week. I mean, that would be my other option, and maybe Giovanni gets along really well with Cash, and they create a little pact. I could see that happening as well. But I do agree with you that those three men are the most in danger, and I think that both Will and Cinco are going to be staying. I think they're both staying.
I think so too.
Well, this was great. So I know we just talked yesterday, but do you have anything going on you want to share with the people?
No, nothing has changed. So.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Chantele. It's always such a fun time.
So fun. I love having you. We love having everybody in the chat here. You guys make this fun because you're as invested in the show as we are. This silly show that we take so seriously. We love that you are on the same page as us. So amazing. So for the girls, my ranking was number 1, Trina, number 2, Shannon, number 3, Kayla, number 4, Olivia, number 5, Cash. So this is for who you found most attractive. Mine, I would put, I think Trina, Shannon, I would say Cash, Kayla, and then Olivia for me. That's where how I would rank them.
Honestly, I'm gonna shake it up. For me, it's Trina, Olivia, Shannon, Cash, Kayla.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad. Well, that's all we got for you today. So thank you. We'll see some of you tomorrow, and have a great one. Ciao.